From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up. Wake up.
WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up War Chant, proudly presented by Zaxby's Indescribably Good. I'm Aslan Hajavandi. He is Corey Clark. We work for WarChant.com, and I like it a lot. You should like it as well. Use the promo code WarChant30, gets you 30 free days of access to the ultimate Seminole sports source. Try it, you'll like it. Become a member for life. Corey Clark joining us from greater Atlanta, suburban Atlanta. Gwinnett, what? How are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I can't complain. Who would listen right now anyway, you know?
Yeah, I'm at the point now where I go to the grocery store, and every time I check out there, did you find everything okay? No, I haven't. Nobody else has for the last month. Stop asking it. Give me some other platitude, you know, just thanks for shopping with us. Just give me that. Stop asking me if everything's okay. It's not okay.
Nobody asked me that. I went to the grocery store on, when was that? Wednesday, and they didn't ask me that. They were nice, but nobody asked me if I found everything okay. I think they assumed that, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, they are nice. I'm not trying to be mean.
They asked me if I was having a good day, and I said,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Be a lot better if you were wearing a mask. But what are you going to do? Do you tip the...
No. Everybody stop with this.
I left a little bit of a tip for the kid that bagged it up and the girl that did that rang them up.
Hey, can we get a tip? Can we start a virtual tip jar for us for doing our job still?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, we should. I mean, I feel like some of that's the subscriptions we still have, you know, that people still subscribe to us every month, which is wonderful and awesome yearly. There's a deal going on right now, isn't there, Aslan?
I don't know. Is there? I thought War Chant 30.
There's always a deal. And even if there isn't a deal, it's a great deal, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like you're getting great content.
Yeah. I don't want to say I'm being ungrateful. I'm grateful that people are still working, but I mean, I don't know where the tip kind of works into this sort of thing. And then
so if you order from like Uber Eats, you don't tip the person a little extra now?
Yeah. I thought you meant like at the grocery store. Like, am I tipping the cashier? At the
grocery store. I feel like that's the same principle. Why are you tipping extra to the Uber Eats person right now, but you wouldn't tip the grocery store worker?
Because never in the history of ever have I ever tipped anybody at a grocery store.
But you've never also been in the middle of a global pandemic.
They're still getting...
We make adjustments. It's like Jimbo said.
I'm not making any extra money. I mean, what? I'm going to start hurting for your sake?
Them going to work...
No, I'm kidding.
Is the reason you can go get your food. Come on, Aslan. Come on. Next time, just kick a little couple bucks.
I don't have cash on me all that often, though. I usually try to have cash on me, and I do have cash on me quite often, but I don't have ones because I don't work at a strip club. And I'm not tipping, and I'm not tipping anybody $20. Never.
Give them quarters from your car.
I don't have. I put all my coins into this jar in my house that I've been doing it since I was probably 26. So all my loose change I save, and I told myself when I'm 40, I'm either going to use it to buy like an engagement ring for a girl, or I'm just going to use it to go to Vegas and drown my sorrows when I turn 40. So right now, the going to Vegas is like minus 700 on the line right now. So
okay, all right, that's fair. Is it enough to like? So you've been doing it for 2 decades?
Yeah, about. I don't know how much.
Right. Yeah, that's probably. Was it like $1,000?
Yeah, gotta be close, probably.
Look at you, buddy. Imagine what a wonderful day it would be for that grocery store worker if you came in with a jar of $1,000 in quarters.
I could I'd go viral. I'd be a viral star and shoot. Like people might like start a GoFundMe and I could even make triple that. Maybe that's what I'll do.
I feel like you kind of just ruined you made sure that's not going to happen now that you just said it on air. But you know, it wouldn't have been a good plan otherwise.
Yeah. I'm just the wrong guy to talk to on. It doesn't seem like I have compassion. I promise I do. But there are just certain things that I'm just never going to get behind fully. And there's other things that I am behind that nobody else is behind. So I don't know. It's a weird life these days. But hey, man, there's a 3-point plan to get us all back, get America back open again. So you know, let's continue to cross our fingers and hope for the best. The only thing I want to say, and then we're going to start taking questions from the Renegade Express, is that everybody realized that we all want this to go away and like get back to work. I feel like there's an undercurrent, or there's a radical belief that people are like enjoying this or want to keep this. We want to keep everything shut down until the vaccine shows up. And it's like, nah, man, like just because I'm skeptical about some things returning in time, or I see like I have some concern about stuff, like that's not me trying to be like, oh no, nope. Go back to the drawing board. I'm not leaving my house until this, and this. But it just feels like, you're kind of being now at this point being termed like a doomsdayer if you're not.
Yeah,
like, let's do it now.
There's a lot of gray area there in the sense that I get that too. Like there are some people on, let's be honest, it's always, for me anyway, it's on Twitter.
Absolutely.
But it does seem like there are, and maybe it's sports media more than other types of media, but they love to be the well actually guy or the killjoy. And it's like, yeah, man, we all understand that things have to happen. We are not just going to open up stadiums right now when 2,000 people are dying a day, obviously. But we get it. We are all hoping. We're just hopeful. And for people, it's like they feel like their sole job is to be like, well, actually, no, this has to be in place, and this has to be in place, and this has to be in place before any of that can happen. Otherwise, this is just nonsense. And it's like, man, just what purpose does that serve? Who is following Stuart Mandel on Twitter to tell us when we can open up college football again, when we can do it, like when it's safe to do it? Like nobody is. Just like nobody's following me for that. I don't offer that kind of advice on Twitter because who follows me for that? But it's not that number one, no media members are enjoying this. That is one of that is going to become a narrative, or already has, or is a talking point, that the media enjoys blowing this up. Man, look around. There are thousands upon thousands of media members getting laid off because of this. So they're like every other business.
Yep.
It's not like newspapers are doing great in the last month. They're losing. Everybody's shuttering. There's people. Cleveland just fired like 100 employees. The Cleveland newspaper just lost 100 reporters. And that's happening around the country. Gannett's furloughing everyone. So it's for the people that think it's done for page views or clicks, or the media. It's an overblown media sensation for the purpose of the media, to help the media. Obviously, that's not true, because they're losing their jobs at the rate with the rest of the country. But there's another side to that too, where it does seem like some people are just so overjoyed to tell you how dumb an idea that is. Oh, there's no way you can play college football without people in the stands. No way. It's ridiculous to even talk about it. Great. Can you go make a burger now? Like, can you go do something? Do you have to opine about everything? I just don't understand the benefit to being so pessimistic about it. Does that make sense? That was a long way that was the sentence I wanted to say. I should have said 3 minutes ago before this long rant. But I don't understand. There's the realistic I get, but it's like realistic with a heavy dose of pessimism, which people get tired of, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Again, like judging by Twitter, judging by my friends' group text messages. Yeah, it just, again, like I think, you and I have said, like there's going to be college football this season. I don't think it's going to start on time, but I don't know, this whole 3-point plan thing sounds like, or 3-phase plan sounds like that might not happen, which is a good thing. Like it would perhaps start on time, or at least there's going to be, it sounds like social distancing won't be limited to simply, I don't know, like going to the grocery store. It'll be like, yeah, you can go to a football game, but just make sure you sit 12 feet away from somebody. Now that might sound a little bit, I'm fine with that. To me, like playing games in empty stadiums, I'll take it. I've said it. I will take it. It is going to be so bizarre though, just to hear like the clattering of 40 guys on the bench clap when the team scores a touchdown or something. Like it is going to be so weird. I'll watch it. I'll take it. It's going to be different. But yeah, if they're gonna if they're gonna allow people to go in the stadium, but we were going to social distance it, keep everybody 6 feet away, and then Doak is at like 24,000 people, or I don't even know how it worked out. I'm not good at I don't know. That wouldn't be an algebra question. Would it in terms of maybe like a geometry question? You have to figure out the radius of the stadium, the diameter, and then blah blah blah. But yeah, like 20,000 people. I mean, that'll still be kind of weird, like a spring game. But hey, there's people cheering for a game. I'm all about it. I'm all about getting back to work.
I was thinking about that, like, people saying, well, you can't play games in front of, you can't have in college especially, and I do understand that. Like, I don't know how you could have a college football game where college students are allowed to attend because it's deemed unsafe for them, but yet the athletes are going to play a game. But I was thinking, like, okay, they don't, and everybody's coming out and saying they're not going to have games without fans, and not that any of their.
I saw Swarbrick. I saw Notre Dame's AD say no games if students aren't on campus in class. But I haven't seen anybody say we're not playing sports if we can't. I think maybe California. I think actually you're right. I think somebody in California, either a senator or somebody there, is like, if we can't have fans in the stands, we're not playing games.
Yeah, but for college, I get it because they're, I'm using the quote fingers. They're unpaid athletes. NBA, if they're willing to sign a waiver, they want their money. They're big boys. They're adults. And if they want to go entertain us in an empty stadium, who gives a flip? Like, go do it. Yeah. Like, we would love it. And as long as they're tested and we know they're not positive, then have at it. But going back to college, again, it's like, I was thinking about how, okay, yeah, I can understand how you wouldn't want 85,000 people. Well, let's be honest, 65,000 people. Would there even be 65,000 people at a Florida State game this year? What's their home schedule? Oh, they do have good home games.
Clemson and Florida here. But like that Samford game, let's say.
Like the Clemson game, maybe you can't have 80,000 people there, but you can have some number of thousands of people there. I was thinking, like, would they do that? Would they have it where, like, you can only have one person on one row all the way around the stadium? Or, like, maybe 3 people on a row, but then the next row is completely empty? Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe there's 15,000 people in the stadium as opposed to 80. Yeah. Is that even doable? Would they even want to do that? Who would police it?
That's the thing. It'd have to be self-policed. And, I would think if you're going to make that, if you're going to go watch a game, I would think that you would obey that kind of protocol. I don't think you'd be like some anarchist, like, I'm going to go to the game, I'm doing whatever I want, I'm going to run, I'm going to hug everybody after a touchdown. Like, I don't see that happening. I would think that the people that would go would be, okay, we get it. Like, these are our seats now. We're sitting here. We really can't, we can go to the concession stands, but we can't, we can't pack closer to these people because they have better seats, just the way it's going to be if you want to watch a game in 2020. And then we'll be back to normal after that. It'll be all right.
Well, and again, going back to the original point, I do not think that, like, somebody like, and I don't know why I'm bringing him up. I'm literally looking at his face on Twitter right now, but the Stuart Mandel from The Athletic,
handsome,
he doesn't not, he desperately wants a college football season. We all do. Yeah. Like, we all do. It's not only our livelihood, it's our passion. We love it. It's our favorite time of the year. It's our favorite season. It's our favorite sport. We love it. But I just don't understand. We get it. You're on record that this, and this has to happen. I just don't understand the rush to be so pessimistic at any talking point or any suggestion. It's like, why don't we see where the world is in July? And then we can make suggestions about it. Then we can do eye rolls and see if it's a stupid plan or if it's a smart plan. None of us know. I mean, we just don't. So I get that point where some people, like, give media members grief because it almost seems like they're relishing it. I don't think they're relishing it. I think that there's just a lot of media members, myself not probably included, that like to feel like the smartest person in the room, and so we feel the need to poo-poo anything that we don't agree with. Man, is there a better word than poo-poo?
You've done a good job of giving it a renaissance. I can't remember last time
I have.
Yeah. That's your thing.
And I don't know the history, the origin of the word, and what I assume it's spelled like P-O-O.
I would imagine, yeah.
So how in the world did that poop? Okay, you get us onto another topic. I'm going to look up where poo-poo came from.
I mean, is it not self-explanatory? You're poo-pooing on something.
It can't be that simple. It can't be a kindergarten explanation. That what's the thing that smells the worst? Oh, poo-poo. Like, it can't be that. There's got to be, maybe it's French and it's P-O-U-X. I'm looking it up.
Oh, I'm actually learning. I'm trying to learn French. That's the one thing I'm doing. But and I'm doing so good on all these little online quizzes it gives me that then when I walk away from my computer and I don't have the words in front of me, I forget everything. I do know that cheval is a horse. I just want to have an obnoxious French accent. Like, oh. Anyhow, let's talk Florida State football. Mad AMCZ. Wake up! Thank you so much for the happy hour with Ira and Gene. It was awesome. Please do again if possible. Corey, you mentioned in the happy hour that Chubba Purdy would make the biggest impact of any freshman. What specific reasons led you to your prediction, or is it just a gut feeling? I think we're all ready for a breath of fresh air at quarterback, but James Blackman has so much more experience. Speaking of Blackman, Tom Brady said on Howard Stern last week that a sports psychologist at Michigan really turned his college career around. He was ready to transfer, but changed his mental approach. Does FSU have these kind of professionals on staff, and have they worked with James Blackman? He still could be darn good if he got his emotions in check. And one last question. Who are your biggest podcast competitors? Does any other school have a similar show that rivals WUWC? Wake Up War Chant. I doubt it. Our podcast competitors
like entertaining. There can't be one that's entertaining.
Joe Rogan and All Things Considered or whatever, This American Life. Those are kind of our top competitors.
Mark Maron too.
Okay. Mark.
WTF. I think that's Simmons. I guess if you want to, Simmons has one that kind of competes with us.
Yeah.
I don't know that. It's funny that I was thinking of. It's funny how I was thinking about this too. That like, is there any other college that has as many podcasts related to it?
Oh gosh,
as Florida State.
We are oversaturated. Is that what they use in the industry?
Yeah. We have definitely saturated the market. Luckily, I feel like we were on first. Headlines probably, but that's a whole different deal. It's on the radio too. But I feel like Wake Up War Chant was like out there and established maybe before any of the other ones. Plus, that it has you and I. So what else do you need?
I don't know.
As far as the psychologist,
what about poo-poo? Let's get to
the it's right. That's very, very disappointing. It's just poo-poo is defined as to dismiss an idea or suggestion. And then you go down and look at the origin of poo-poo, and it says, origin of poo-poo, baby talk doubling of poo.
Or playground, 1976, third grade teacher Belinda Cartwright tells, little Timmy, bad idea. I'm a poo-poo.
I'm going to poo-poo that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to take a big crap on it? Great. That's what you're saying. It's not even a regular one. Yeah. It's a double dose. What a weird term. And I brought it back. So you're welcome, everyone. That's why you listen to this show and not the competitors.
Bingo. All right, don't poo-poo on James Blackman. Is he salvageable? Is there a sports psychologist? Do we have professionals on staff? Have they worked with James Blackman, Corey?
So, yes. I mean, every university, for sure they had one because
Moad.
Oh, gosh, I just forgot. Moad, yeah. Trevor Moad worked with, he worked with half the programs in the country, it seemed like. But Jimbo was a disciple of his, and he worked with Saban and worked with Jimbo. No, I don't know if you noticed, but once Florida State started struggling a little bit, he stopped showing up as prominently on the sidelines. But I don't know if he still works with Florida State. I doubt it. I assume he went with Jimbo to Texas A&M, and I don't know. And I'm ignorant on it. I don't know that Willie Taggart had one on staff. When you read some of the, if you read Ira's Q&A with the nutritionist, I'm literally left to wonder if that mattered to Willie. I think these guys being good kids did matter to Willie. I don't know if he went the extra step as far as, James, you gotta meet with someone about your emotions.
Right.
But I think that's exactly the kind of thing that Mike Norvell would do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it can't hurt. I don't expect him to be Tom Brady. I don't think there's a switch in there that you just flip after a couple of sessions. But I don't think he has any chance to be a good quarterback if he doesn't change that part of his, I don't know, personality. Is it a personality trait to be emotional?
His psyche,
yeah.
Or his
you can't do
spirit.
It. I don't think he has any chance if he doesn't change that part about himself.
What about Chubba? What was that a gut thing, or do you have specific reasons?
No, it's a gut thing. I mean, just obviously the way they talk about him, the way they talked about him on signing day in particular, but just the way they've talked about him even since, and the fact that he is not falling behind at all. There's nothing that these other quarterbacks are doing. They would have had 15 practices and a spring game over him. Now they have one practice and pads over him. Everything else is even, and I think. And they don't, we've talked about it and we'll talk about it a lot more. James Blackman is not somebody they recruited. They don't feel like they owe him anything. There's no reason to be loyal to him. There's no loyalty ties there. They are going to play the very best person. And, I just think he has a real good chance to win the job.
I like his tape. I like his tape a little bit better than Rodemaker's. Now, Rodemaker obviously playing against better competition, most likely.
No doubt he was.
Well, I mean, come on again. Let's not have our Southern superiority over everybody else that plays football.
It's Valdosta, man. It's Region 1. It's South Georgia. Of course, he's playing better than who's Chubba playing in the desert?
I don't know. Phoenix is a big city.
Is it Gila Monsters? Is it like 4 linemen and then 7 Gila Monsters?
I think maybe a monitor lizard or 2, maybe.
Okay, all right. And cacti.
I don't like. I get it. That's what we do. It's Georgia, peaches and football. It's what Georgia does. But man, yeah, he threw a really nice deep ball, which I don't think is a huge staple of the Mike Norvell offense. I haven't been able to watch as many games as I had initially planned when the quarantine started. I've had so many big plans to be lazy and watch stuff, and I haven't gotten around to doing any of it. So,
well, you got Netflix to watch. And again, I'm not saying that he's not good because he didn't play great competition.
Oh, I know.
Or that he's less than Rodemaker. I'm just saying that it's indisputable that one played better competition than the other, but that doesn't mean one player is better than the other. Like, where is Isaiah Simmons from? That linebacker from Clemson? Isn't he from some weird state?
Kansas.
Yeah. Camarion Wimberly was from Cam Wembley was from
Wichita.
Wasn't he from Kansas too?
Wichita.
He's from Wichita.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that I think Cam Wembley might have played 7-man football or 8-man football. If you can play, you can play, even if it's against Gila Monsters.
This is probably a bad example, but I just think if you showed people the profile of Jake Fromm and Tua Tagovailoa, people would probably take Jake Fromm. They saw a guy that played at Warner Robins and won a state title, I think, and was featured on a TV web show and all these stats, and then a kid from Hawaii. You're like, oh, yeah, give me the kid from Warner Robins. Well, probably would take the kid from Hawaii. And I'm sure Jake Fromm played against a lot better teams at Warner Robins than Tua Tagovailoa played in Honolulu or on the Big Island or wherever. But, so I'm not of that thing where, like, I instantly think that Tate's been forged in a crucible that Chubba can't wrap his head around.
Sure, but I hope nobody's like that. That would be weird.
But I think Chubba shows pretty good pocket presence. Again, I don't think quarterback run design stuff is a huge staple of what Norvell wants to do, but plays break down. This offensive line, not the most stout in the nation. So a guy that can buy a few extra seconds, and the stuff that you see on his tape, you can see some stuff and you're like, man, that's you can't coach that, but at the same time, you can't duplicate it. It seems kind of lucky stuff. But these are things where, like, he's moving around the pocket, resetting his feet, making really good throws and reads. It's not stuff like jump ball kind of stuff. It's like him being able to still process while moving his feet and being under duress. So there's things that definitely like about you see him on tape. And then Tate Rodemaker, son of a coach. He's already been on campus, a little bit more settled in, taller. I think he probably has better – he's more physically, I think, developer, has more sort of the tools that coaches kind of, go gaga about. But – I would like to see what happens with Chubba. As for Blackman, this would be a total guess and conjecture, and we don't like to do that stuff on the show. We're a fact-based show, we like to think. I would, if I had to bet, I would say that there was not a full-time sports psychologist on staff for Willie in the last 2 seasons. I think the way he answered the question that first spring about his thoughts on the protective padding that goes over the helmets of the linemen in practice just kind of makes you think that he probably is pretty old school in his approach. And I don't know if sports psychology is one of those things that he, he's a Jack Harbaugh, disciple. Everything is like, let's just rub some dirt on it. So
yeah, but that would be a little disappointing, quite honestly, because it is part of it. I mean, Saban believes in it, and if Saban believes in it, then I don't know why Mike Norvell and Saban's as hard ass and old school as you can get. I hope he understands how impactful that kind of health can be. By the way, what do you think about that as a nickname? Not that a guy named like Chubba needs a nickname necessarily.
Okay.
But
What?
do you like the Gila Monster?
The Gila Monster. Yeah. I mean, it's a little, maybe just Gila, El Gila, La Gila.
Yeah, like El Gila. I think El Gila is
it's
masculine, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing about the Gila, and that's how it's referred to on Wikipedia after the first entry. It's the Gila eats small birds, small mammals, frogs, smaller lizards, and insects. So it could eat, theoretically, I guess it could eat an alligator if it snuck up on one.
Maybe even a baby tiger.
It usually eats eggs, but when it does feed, it may eat up to 1/3 of its body mass.
Nice.
And it uses its extremely acute sense of smell to locate prey.
Okay.
How about that? You didn't know that, did you?
I did not. Thanks,
Okay.
Corey. Hey,
You
speaking of eggs, how does your grocery store look in the egg department? Are there eggs there?
crushed it. They were actually stocking it as I was walking by, and I got 2 cartons.
I just don't know what's going on out there. Is everybody feeding their kids breakfast now? Is everybody just baking? I can't find eggs, man. Eggs are part of my morning.
Easter, right?
Well, that too. Good point. See, that's why I keep you around. Sabaxley1212 says, "Wake up, gentlemen. Most times you can find something good out of something bad, like the many stories of people reconnecting with their families and remembering how much fun spending time with your kids can be. So what is something positive that each of you have found or experienced during this time? And you can't say spending time with the family."
Oh, well, there's not much. I'm walking, I guess, more. I was going to say, but I'm taking walks with Brady. So that's what's been kind of like today. We just, we walked, there's a golf course near my house. I don't live on a golf course, but it's near my neighborhood. And we walked down and we sat by a green and watched some people play the hole.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I got live sporting.
There we go.
I got some live sports, and Brady kept telling me how weird we looked, and it was crazy, and he didn't want to be seen, but I didn't care. I was watching. I was hoping to see a really good shot so we could clap, but these hacks weren't anywhere close.
I mean, can't say family. We had a good group Zoom Google Hangout last week with like me and about 6 of the guys, so that was good. And even my lawyer was on it, and he was a little bit. Actually, it was his birthday. It worked out really good. He probably thought I organized it because it was his birthday, but I totally forgot. And I should remember because it's actually my parents' wedding anniversary is the same day as his birthday, and also the date of an infamous event in my life that I'm not going to talk about on the show. Okay. And he was drunk, and he was like, "I'm going to be honest. I thought this was going to be a really stupid idea. He's like, the wife keeps doing with all of her friends." I'm like, "That's so dumb." He's like, "But I really like this. We should do it again." So that was cool. To see the thawing of the black mass inside of his thorax.
Yeah, I think that's happening. That's happening around the world. Really, we're starting to realize how maybe that's a positive, and it's not something that we've been able to enjoy yet. But when we get back out there, we will. Is like really embracing the moment, at least for a week, until life catches up again, and we just get mad at dumb things.
Yeah.
But like, just think about when you are able to go out and like go to your favorite bar, your favorite restaurant, or just go hang out at your friend's house. How awesome that's going to feel, and you're just going to really kind of relish it.
Yeah.
Until somebody says something dumb, and then you're going to want to leave. But whatever.
See, that's my thing. I'm not you. I'm not the social butterfly. Like, I don't go out to bars. Like I'll go out on a date, but otherwise, like I pretty much hang out in my crib. So this really hasn't been too big of a change for me, which is not a good thing. Like, everybody else is struggling with how big of a drastic change this is. And I mentioned, on the Rosillo podcast, like, listen, if this hasn't shook up your daily life, like you're doing something wrong. But I have gone outside to work out, and I think it's so much better to be outdoors working out than it is to be inside of a gym. Especially now when I think about, like, I don't even know if I want to go back to a gym. I do like free weights. It's important, I think. But I just think about all the idiots that go to a gym and don't wash their hands and don't use the disinfecting spray and paper towels that are there at your disposal. And I'm like, do I really want to go and handle that, do that nonsense? Like, I go outside, I see squirrels all the time. I'm like the squirrel guy. I'm like the squirrel whisperer now, Corey. On behalf of you, I've reached out to Olive Branch to the squirrel community. They all like run around me when I'm jogging and stuff. And I'm like, look, I got a little buddy. I got a little squirrel buddy. It's good.
I don't just say it because a squirrel literally jumped on me. Man, squirrels are creepy, and their brains are the size of a pea. Like they get out in the middle of the road and look like they're a drug addict.
Well,
Like they look like Chris Tucker in Friday.
What are they supposed to do?
Wiping stuff off their shoulders, looking back and forth. They sprint in front of a car, not away from it, in front of it. I don't get squirrels.
Right.
What are they doing for us?
Whatever. Seb Axley also asks how I come up with the music for the intro on each podcast. Lately, it's been on point. I got a couple mechanisms I use to discover new music, and I got a good groove, Seb Axley. I think you can agree as well. I kind of, I take pride in good music. When I live in Indian Village back in the day, we were Hangout Central on game days, and I had, in my bedroom, I had like a 50-foot cable that ran down our staircase to the speakers in the living room that went down to the garage, and like we were the music center hub of the block. And I had this playlist that was curated personally by me. Like every song went in particular. It wasn't like I hit shuffle. It was like this song needs to go to this song, then to this song. And, music, the musical score is a big deal to me, which is why I didn't like the whole Willie Taggart playing music at practice thing. I'm like, this is not a good score to a practice. If you want to play music, there's probably certain songs you can play to build up the competitive juices. Mumble rap, not one of them. Sorry. Hot take. Maxwell Gibbs, wake up. Gentlemen, let's have fun this week. 2 questions. First, which of the following scenarios is most likely to happen in the next 5 seasons? Most likely to happen next 5 seasons. A, Miami, consistent threat to win the ACC. B, Dabo goes Jimbo, downturn of Clemson. C, FSU wins the ACC twice, makes a playoff appearance. D, Mac Brown still coaching at North Carolina. What is most likely to happen? I think Dabo, honestly, 5 years? Like to keep going? I don't know. What are we defining Jimbo downturn as? Because he was here for 1 year and then left. It wasn't like he stuck around for 3 years and we totally saw him.
It'd be like a slow wane at first. 3 losses, then 6 losses.
Okay.
I don't see that happening with Dabo in the next 5 years.
Okay. All right.
Florida State winning the ACC twice in 5 years. I could see that happen. I would say C or D.
And they got to make the playoff. But I guess if you win the ACC,
I think if they win the ACC, 4 years from now they'll probably be in the playoff. And that's not that's not out of the realm of possibility. Clemson isn't unbeatable. They can win the ACC for sure in 3 or 4 years, maybe 2 years. I would be surprised by that, but it could happen. I'm not wanting to set their ceiling too low, but I also think Mac Brown's going to coach. Like it's North Carolina, man. What are they going to do? Fire him?
How old is Mac?
North Carolina football. He can't be. Wasn't he like in his 60s?
No, I thought he had to be in his 70s. Yeah, he's 68. He'll be 69 in August.
So he would be 74. I mean, we've seen it. Leonard Hamilton's 71. Nobody's asking him to resign or retire anytime soon. So I could see that. And he's a beloved figure there. He got him Sam Howell. Well, he and Walt Bell tag team Sam Howell up there. And, they might be good this year. They might be good. I think they'll always be good enough, 6 to 8 wins, somewhere in there, that North Carolina will reasonably think, okay, this is fine. This is fine. We can live with this.
Wasn't that what Larry Fedora was doing?
No, he had a couple bad years, didn't he?
I don't know. I'll pull it up here right now. I know they won 10 games in 15. They almost put Clemson on the ropes in the title game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are two bad seasons. He went 3-9 and then 2-9. He got fired in the middle of the year, or did they have a whole bunch of games canceled because of weather? Probably games canceled because of weather. Yeah, he went 11-3 was the high water mark. Then he went 8-5, 3-9, 2-9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you fired. That'll get you fired at a football factory like North Carolina.
Right, exactly right.
Miami fans listening to the show, just know that you are the least likely of all these scenarios. You are least likely to be a consistent threat.
What was their hypothetical?
Be a consistent threat to win the ACC. Although I don't know.
I think they're a consistent threat to win the Coastal.
Yeah.
But who isn't?
Exactly.
Everybody in that side of the division is a threat.
It's almost their turn. They just got to wait their turn in line. So like everybody's won it there now. So it's going to be like 4 years now. It'll be their turn again to win it. So, second question from Maxwell Gibbs, because he did say 2 questions. When Notre Dame is forced to join the ACC as a full-time member, which of the following institutions of higher learning will become the 16th member of the mighty Atlantic Coast Conference? A, University of South Florida. B, University of Central Florida. C, Memphis. D, Temple. Ooh. I mean, Temple's got the basketball team. So does Memphis.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what they care about, Corey. That's what we care about in the ACC.
Well, yeah, right. I would guess Memphis would make the most sense, and that would certainly be what Florida State would. Obviously, this is. I'm not saying it's fantasy land, but this is a hypothetical, because who knows if Notre Dame's ever going to join the ACC. Right. If I ran the NCAA, I would tell Notre Dame it is absolutely cool that you guys don't join a conference for football, but you do not qualify for a playoff.
Ever?
The only way moving forward you qualify for a playoff,
dude, they play
is if you're in a conference.
They play a legit schedule, man. It's not like they're playing BYU and directional schools. Like, they play a legit schedule.
Don't care. Split your TV money.
No, that's stupid. Why? Why should they? They've been getting away with it.
They shouldn't. It's fine. Okay. Everybody else is playing by one set of rules. Every other team in the country is playing by one set of the rules, except Notre Dame. But Notre Dame gets to use the ACC so their soccer team can feel like champions, and their basketball team can play in a championship, and their swimming team and their fencing team and whoever else. But the big sport that matters, no, we're keeping all that money for ourselves. Okay, fine, do it. You don't get access to the NCAA championship then.
First it's librarians. Now you're attacking the Catholic Church. I don't even know who you are anymore, Corey.
Hey, slow your roll on that. That is not correct. But I would guess Memphis. If from that scenario, I would vote Memphis. It's in a state that enjoys football, that perhaps could get behind that program. It is a big school, and it's a big city, and it would bring eyeballs, I think, if the football team was viable and good and played in a conference like that. I think it would bring eyeballs. And Temple football, nobody in Philadelphia is watching Temple football. Just can't imagine it. And Florida State would not want USF or UCF, neither would Miami, to be the 16th member.
No. You're right. You're right for everything you said. I got nothing, Corey. You were so right.
I'm doing it.
All right. Maxwell with another paragraph in closing. Corey has mentioned multiple times about Randy Moss getting kicked out of FSU being his, quote, "what if this wouldn't have happened" moment. I think it's the biggest what if, but that works too, Maxwell. Well, how about this one for you boys? What if Dalvin Cook doesn't fumble away the 2015 Rose Bowl semifinal against the Oregon Donald Ducks? If he does not, FSU not only goes on to win the game, but they win their 4th overall national title, complete the back-to-back. Who knows? Maybe Aslan's long-lost father, Jimbo, never leaves. Maybe Rick Trickett and Charles Kelly are still here. Maybe DeAndre Johnson never gets kicked out. Maybe FSU never signs Malik Henry.
I just don't think any of those last two, especially, I don't think that loss played any role. I don't know how that would have been impacted by another national championship.
I think
even after that loss, Florida State was the best program in the United States. They were 29-1 in their last 30 games.
Yeah. And
if Dalvin doesn't fumble, there's definitely a very good chance they win another national championship. But I don't know. I can't pinpoint how that would have impacted the program moving forward. Like I still think he was going to recruit the quarterbacks that he recruited. So, and that would have been a big issue.
I don't even want to think about that. That depresses me more than being on quarantine. FSU Robert, wake up! Thanks for a great show. The happy hour was awesome. Next time, y'all should do it completely hammered. Just kidding. I just pictured drunk history from YouTube, but for football.
Right, that would be funny.
I posted this on the boards, but curious to hear y'all's answer. If you could pick one FSU player to insert on any year's roster, who would it be and what year? What impact? Unrelated thought, has a strength and conditioning staff considered networking with high school coaches and or local hotels to allow gym access to our players? A step further, networking with local restaurants to provide prepared Blue Apron style meals or kits. Those are good queries. I don't know. Maybe next time I'll guerrilla bomb or whatever the chats they're doing with Mike Norvell with the boosters and stuff. High schools are closed, so I would imagine if they saw people walking in and out of a gym, that would be a bit frowned upon. Not the worst idea.
Yeah, I think those weight rooms are closed. So, I mean, they might, there might be some talking taking place, but they're supposed to be closed and they're not supposed to be being used at all. So I don't know that they would, I don't think that's a possibility.
Corey,
the other thing,
can I answer it? Can I answer it for you? And then you just say yes or
sure,
no?
Go ahead. Sure. You
pick one player to insert on any of your roster, who and what year. 91, Janikowski or Aguayo, over, right? That's it. That's the answer, right? If you have a kicker in 1991.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Okay, disagree. Yeah. Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
I mean, but the thing about that game is, we definitely think that Aguayo or Janikowski would have made that 34-yarder. But Jerry Thomas did make 3 other kicks in that game. So 3 out of 4 from a place kicker ain't
bad.
Obviously, if you were guaranteed that Aguayo comes and makes that kick, which he never missed a kick under 40 yards in his career at Florida State, so you feel pretty good about it. I could say that. I think there's a bet that seems like the obvious one. I want to go a little bit more off script and not so, because that just seems so.
Jameis 2012.
Yeah, 2012. Well, who would you? You know what? Well, I was going to say 2014. You could throw Jernigan or Benjamin back on that team. Man, that's a really good question. We've had a lot of questions like what player would you want from the past to be on this team? I've never really thought about a player from the past that you could drop in any one team, because you're obviously thinking about national championships,
right? And I do wonder. Go ahead. My bad.
What's the one person that cost Florida? What's the one thing, like one game or one moment that cost Florida State a national title? Yeesh, man. Like if Marvin plays on the 92 team, does it come down to a field goal at the end against Miami? Maybe. I don't know. Randy Moss, 96.
Peter Warwick sticks around 2000. So who cares that Snoop Minnis?
Well, he was a senior anyway. So yeah. Well, that's a really good point. 2000. Yeah. So 2000, I'm going to throw a receiver on there.
Rashad.
So Rashad, Tamarian Terry. I'd like to see Winky throw into him. I'm going to do that just to be something different. Tamarian Terry in 2000.
So I do wonder, because you're going to take 2020 Tamarian Terry and drop him into the year 2000. But with Jameis, it's like, are we taking 2013 Jameis and putting him on the 2012 team, or are we using true freshman Jameis Winston?
Exactly.
I
think
scenario?
You're taking them at their peak.
Yeah.
And dropping them in for that one season.
Yeah. I think he beats NC State, and I think they beat Florida. And who was that year? That was a good Alabama team. That was the Alabama team that, neutered Notre Dame in the national title game.
That was a good Alabama. I mean, that wasn't a great Notre Dame team, but yeah, that was going to be tough no matter what.
Bowden Dynasty. That's the name of the person here.
Okay.
Wake up. About a month ago, I drove from Orlando back to my home in Austin, Texas, but made sure to stop at Zaxby's in Tallahassee. My wife was annoyed at how passionate I was to stop at said Zaxby's, but since I listen every day and hear about it, I figured this was my opportunity. It was delicious. The kids loved it. Even my wife enjoyed her salad.
There you go. Nice.
What
an endorsement.
You know, I'm. You guys don't like me, a lot of you, which is fine. But I'm not going to lead you astray when it comes to food. Food's important. You should enjoy food, indulge. Zaxby's ain't going to do you wrong. They're not going to do you wrong. He continues. I love how much Aslan hates our rivals. If you could choose one former Miami player and one former Florida player to put back on their respective teams to completely derail their upcoming season, who are you selecting and why? Rules.
Ooh.
They have to at start. So, for example, you could trade Trask for Trayon Harris. Yeah, man, give me Skylar Morningwig. Have him start for the Gators. He started against us in 13. Yeah,
that didn't go well. That didn't go well for old Skylar.
Yeah, throw him out there. Miami, I don't want to. I mean, you got to put a quarterback. If you want to derail their season, it has to be a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, Ja'Cory Harris. Are we finally with another stint of the Ja'Cory Harris era making a return to the to Coral Gables? I'll take that.
Kirby Freeman,
okay.
Although the one drive of his life was that 07 game. And I'm almost positive the next week after he drove Miami down the field for a game-winning touchdown, the next week, I think he completed one pass the whole game. Right? I think he was like 1 out of 13 and they lost to whoever they played, like Baylor or somebody they shouldn't have lost to, and he was 1 out of 13. But hey, against Florida State in 07, he turned into Joe Montana in the final 3 minutes. Ooh, I feel like there's a lot of people to choose from. The quarterback has the biggest impact.
Yeah.
So you almost got to go with the quarterback. So yeah, I would say, and they both have plenty of options in the last 10 years or so.
I wonder what our rivals would pick for us. They probably, by the way, to Corey's point, oh my gosh, look at Corey Clark, my man.
What are you even looking at?
October 20th, 2007, Miami wins 37-29 in Tallahassee. Kirby Freeman, 4 of 11, 2 picks but a touchdown. Did he throw the fake field goal? Was that 2007, that game? They did a fake field goal on us, didn't they, in one game in Tallahassee? Anyhow, to your point, Corey, that was October 20th. The next game on his game log, November 3rd, NC State, 1 of 14.
There you go.
But he had 84 yards, and it was a touchdown.
Big play.
3
Big play.
picks.
He made him count.
Yeah, 3 picks. 1 for 14. That's a 7% completion percentage.
Yeah, and Florida State lost to that guy.
Oh,
that is a really good question. We don't want to be mean, but that is a good question about who the rivals would pick for Florida State. Yeah. Again, I think it's a quarterback.
It has to be quarterback, yeah.
It just has to be a quarterback because that's the one that has the biggest impact. They might go with Ricks.
Miami would say Ricks.
Well,
Gators
you're
would
right.
say White Sexton.
He went 0-5 against them. Yeah. But Florida wouldn't because he played well against Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Beat him 3 times, right?
Yeah.
At least twice.
No,
beat him 2 times in a row.
Twice.
Yeah, beat him twice.
He would have beat him in 2004 if he would have started, but we started wild.
Yeah, they were riding the Wyatt train then. Yeah, and then whoever you want to pick from Golson, anybody from the last half decade.
All right, let me write that down. I got to do a better job of writing this stuff down when it happens so I can put it in our item description. Old Dad's
Hey, hold on a second.
Yep.
Brady.
3-2, and we're back. Old Dad's a knoll. Wake up! Always enjoy listening to your podcasts. Aslan, do you ever miss the Conestoga? I don't exactly know. A Conestoga is a wagon, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I do miss the Conestoga, I guess. Corey, too many times you back off from what it appears you'd really like to say, in my opinion. I realize we live in a snowflake era where too many feelings get hurt from simply making honest assessments when needed. Heck, didn't snowflakeness begin at FSU with the Peter Tom has to go crowd? Poor PT. No one loves his university as much as him, and gosh, I missed him. So with that said, and there's not much to throw around now, I have to ask, whether we play an 8-game or full season, even what are your early thoughts on what the stadium is going to look like attendance-wise? With attendance already struggling everywhere, the economy, and I'll say it, being in the ACC, I'd just like some thoughts, even if ugly. Y'all rock.
I don't remember. Was there I know he ended up getting ousted, but I thought that was because of Bowden. Was there a sect of the fan base that wanted PT gone?
I don't think so. No.
I hope not. I liked him, and he was honest, and that was the thing. He bled Garnet Gold, man. He loved that university, and he was speaking his mind. Now he took shots at the son's or at the coach's son, but they were warranted shots. And I thought it was a bad move, and it kind of made Bowden look petty at the time. And I still won't ever agree with that because I thought PT, number one, was good at his job. And, PT was on that team for 5 years. He was there to start the dynasty. He could deserve a little. He has ownership of it. It's his program too. And I always thought if you're going to choose between your son, who did nothing for the university playing wise, and a guy that bled, sweated, and cried on your practice field, and also was a starting quarterback and went 11-2 in his career as a starting quarterback, I thought you could maybe show a little more loyalty to that guy, but he was ousted. Not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is.
What's the stadium?
I wonder if William. I don't listen to the radio broadcast. What has William been like the last 3 years? I wonder.
I don't know. I
mean, you can't be somebody that's blowing rainbows and sunshine right now. You have to speak the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And look, William Floyd cares as much about the program as Peter Tom Willis did. I mean, he's upset as anyone else when the program is struggling. So I wonder if there's a gray area where you got to criticize because it's awful, the product, or not good, the product, but at the same time, it is your university and you kind of work for it. So I don't know. It's a weird thin line. There's a line there, I guess. And PT, I guess, and Bowden's mind crossed it.
What's the stadium going to look like this year, Corey?
Man, I think they're not going to play in an empty stadium. So, and I think the idea of like every other row, just picturing it in my mind just looks so dumb and goofy and it would be pointless anyway, especially if they're not going to be policed. I think that when they finally play, I think it will be open to the masses.
See,
that's my thought.
Oh, look at that! That's a big zag. I'm gonna put this as a breakout. I'm gonna tweet this out. This will get us a lot of hits. Corey Clark says that games are gonna be played and it's gonna be full stadiums.
Please don't do that.
We should.
By all means, put my name in it too, so people can at me and tell me what an idiot I am. Yeah. No, I just think that you can't play these games in an empty stadium.
Why not?
Because then that implies that there's nobody on campus. And you can't have college football, in my opinion, if nobody's on campus, because what are you telling those kids? That their safety isn't as important as, because they have to make money for you as the other students. We all know that's the truth. And if we could be realistic for a moment, those players know that's the truth. We all understand that college football is its own entity and isn't really even amateur athletics at this point. And it needs to be treated differently, but I just don't see how presidents can do that. I don't see how presidents can tell those 100 kids, yeah, you're playing for us because we desperately need this money, and then those players don't get a cut of the money.
Right.
Now, if you came up with some scenario and said, all right, we're splitting the profits, then yeah, you can play games in empty stadiums, but until students are allowed back on campus, I don't know how you allow people back in stadiums, and then if people aren't back in stadiums, I don't know how you let those players play. I'm all for it because I'm a realist and I'm a pragmatist, and we all understand that college football is what drives everything, and they desperately need the money, and college football is special, and college football is different, and college football is unique, and they should make some sort of exceptions to get that sport started before anything else, because it is so important to the just the bottom line of all these universities. I mean, literally hundreds of jobs could be lost if there's not a college football season. Hundreds of jobs at every school. So it desperately needs to happen, but I don't know that I don't think presidents would let it happen.
I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. How involved were you in the seating chart at your wedding?
That's out of nowhere. I think I was very involved.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect that.
But it was a small wedding. I think we only had 60 guests.
You're popular, though. Really? Is she a nerd? I didn't know. I thought Shannon was pretty popular too. But all right.
Oh no. I'm the reason she had a life at all.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, we were in Sarasota. Most of my friends were in the Atlanta area, but we had our wedding in Sarasota, so it was like it was a destination wedding. So we kept it small.
You fly Atlanta to Tampa, then you drive down. Come on, we're talking about you're acting like it was like Florence or something.
Well, no, and it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't on the beaches of Mexico or anything, but it was still. It wasn't in the church 20 minutes away. So that cut the invitation list probably by 30 or 40, and then so it was. I think it was like probably, what would that be? 10 tables, 8 tables. It wasn't. All right. It was a cool. We did it at the Botanical Gardens in Sarasota, and they have these things called banyan trees.
Yeah. Oh, but the berries kept falling on everybody, I bet, right?
I don't remember that. It was in the dead of summer.
Okay.
And it was the hottest I've ever been. And it wasn't just because it wasn't me like pulling my collar because I was getting married. I was genuinely melting. My best man got crazy drunk.
Nice.
He ended his speech by saying, "Let's all screw."
I remember this.
And it just went downhill from there. That was before it got bad.
Oh,
but it was still a fun time. It was a good time. Awesome. But it was under a banyan tree. I'd never heard of a banyan tree, but if you don't know what those are, folks, look them up. They're crazy.
Beautiful.
And it was supposed to provide shade and cool air. It was supposed to be cool because we were right on the water too. And no, it was stifling. But the coolest thing we did was, the only thing I really cared about, number one, is to have a great reception, because nobody remembers weddings. That's a life lesson for any of you folks. Nobody says, "Oh, that was a great wedding, but a terrible reception." When they say that was a fun wedding or a great wedding, they are always talking about the reception. Always. So make sure you have a fun reception.
Taking notes.
But the way I introduced the people in the wedding party is I had the DJ. We played the music from the Chicago Bulls in the 90s.
Okay.
Dun, 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 that music they used to have. And now,
right.
And that's how I wrote up a little bio on each person in the wedding party. And now
6'3" groomsmen from
from Lilburn, Georgia. Yeah. And then we went down that all the way down the line.
Nice. My cousin, huge Chicago Bulls fan, when he got married in Chicago, that's what they did for his groomsmen.
But did he write like little bios out too?
No, they just had the music. They were just like, "Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, welcome Mr. and Mrs." So they did that. The reason I ask you this question is I'm thinking about the stadiums, and I'm thinking about, I don't think I'm at your point where if they're going to play this, it's going to be normal. I do wonder, like, do you make certain sections for 2-seat people or like singles, and then certain parts are going to be for groups of 4? Because I'm trying to think, like, how are you going to sit everybody? Because, like, let's say row 1, there's going to be 4 people, and then the row behind them, they're going to have to sit over maybe 15 feet or so that they're not directly behind the row in front of them. So everything's going to have to like stagger out. But how do you do that when you're selling tickets like on StubHub and somebody buys 2 tickets and somebody buys 3? It's like, are you going to earmark certain sections for, like, all right, like even number sections are going to be for even numbered people, either 2, 4, or 6, and we'll make certain rows for groups of 6 or groups of 4, and then we're going to be able to keep people distance from each other. I think you can make it somewhat cool and make it like, all right, hey, listen, if you're going to be in an even row, wear garnet. If you're going to be in an odd row, wear gold. And then maybe you can create some sort of aesthetic to where the crowd, the stands, have a nice kind of garnet and gold checkered feel or something. But I don't know. I don't think, attendance is going to be tough. If this was 2014, even with the way the economy is and with the pandemic hovering around it, I still think you probably have a really good turnout. But I think the season's still going to be tough. The first home game, there's only one home game in the month of September. But hey, man, let this team fool around and be 3-0, or if they condense the schedule, they're 2-0, and then Clemson comes to town. I think people will be a little bit more willing to come to Tallahassee and deal with whatever they have to watch.
You think they're still going to have like a clear bag policy?
I mean,
I feel like colleges are going to, because look, even if they allow people to come back, there's going to be plenty of people that are weird, wary of it. They're leery of coming back.
Yeah.
So I feel like you tell them, look, anything you want to bring in, a cooler, a TV.
I gotcha.
Anything to get you in an Xbox. We'll even have we'll have places you can hook up. You'll have a TV at your bench seat. Anything to get people in the stands, they're going to do. And I just can't imagine they're going to still be like, oh, no. What? No, you got to have a clear bag. All right, well, I'm just going to go watch it from home where it's safer anyway. I think, man, I just think it's hard to just predict, period. Because are they going to have kids in classrooms and in lecture halls? Because if they do, then why wouldn't you have kids in the stands? If it's deemed okay for them to be in a 300-seat lecture hall, then, they're all sitting really close to each other there, and there's kids behind you. I just, I don't know when that can be.
You're right on that point for sure. Yeah, if they're going to if classes are open normal, like 300-person auditoriums are a go, I would imagine at that point, football stadiums will be under the same sort of protocol. I don't think that happens.
I would be, and again, I'll say it again. I'm all for them playing these games in empty stadiums. Not obviously, I'd rather people be there than not. Yeah. But what's funny is you see all this talk about how that will be the end of the amateurism model as you know it, because it does make sense. Like, how are you going? You are just strictly telling these players you need them for the money they provide. They aren't students first. They are athletes first, because you need their athletic endeavor to pay the bills. So that could be the end of college football the way we know it.
Or they'll sit out for a year and keep that, that routine going. That's
but I'm all for doing it because we all know it anyway. Yeah. That's not like none of us are under this delusion that it's college football from the 1940s or 30s or 20s. It's not pure and innocent. It is a billion-dollar business. So the quicker we start treating it like that, especially in this climate right now, I feel like that would be the smarter thing to do, but they're not going to do it because they still want to hide behind the amateurism, even though we all know the reality of the situation. They just can't come right out and say it. Yeah, they're on campus to entertain us and make us a lot of money. That is the only reason they're here, and we're okay with them playing an empty stadium. That's how important, that's how much we need that money.
All right, we're at
Hey, by the way, real quick, before we go on to the next one, I know we're going long. The reason I brought up P.T. Willis, I was actually thinking about, I didn't mean to rip Bowden. I wasn't trying to rip Bowden about that, but I do remember when I think it was Shane Matthews said some negative things about Urban's team, like 2 or 3 years into his tenure, maybe his third year. It might have been his first year. And Urban Meyer was like, he really needs to be quiet. Basically criticizing Shane Matthews. And I think Shane Matthews had some sort of job within the athletic department or within the broadcast team. And Urban either ended it or threatened to end it because it wasn't doing anything good for the program. And he should care about the university more than that. And it's like, dude, who are you, Mr. Mercenary, you were just at Utah 6 months ago to tell Shane Matthews, who was there when they had the birth of their run and was one of the most important athletes in Florida history, that he doesn't care about Florida enough. It's like, man, these coaches sometimes are just, And that much more than Bowden, because Bowden was there for the whole thing. Bowden built the darn thing, even more than Peter Tom Willis. But Urban Meyer, he was only there because of the likes of Shane Matthews. So that bothers me when these coaches have such thin skin when they hear criticism from former players that were there before they were there and care much more about the university and will be fans of the university after those coaches leave. Anyway, that had to be said, Aslan. There was no way we could have gotten through this wake up war chant without me going on that 75-second rant.
If you want to be critical of a player on our team or a coach on our team, you can buy a ticket for seat 37F. You're not welcome back in the football office. You're either a Gator or you're not a Gator, is what.
So it was worse than I thought. Like, screw you, dude. Good Lord. Anyway, I hope we get testing. Testing is the key to everything. We've tested like 3.5 million people in this country. That's right at about 1%, I think, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah.
Let's get that up to 80%, and we can get on with lives.
That's expensive. All right,
this whole thing is expensive.
Let's take one more question. Golly, there's a lot of questions. Sorry, I should just be able to like go right into one of these. We'll do these on Monday, the ones that we did not get to. This one feels a little bit. All right, let's go to this one. Garnett 76. Welcome back. It's been a long time since we've seen him. Wake up, be well. Following up on some recent topics, what would have happened if Jameis Winston had gone to the coaches this past season and said, I'm simply too injured due to the thumb and knee injuries to perform at a professional level. I have to sit and recover for part of the season. Let's say he winds up with half or less the number of interceptions he had. Would that have kept him with the Bucs? Also, I loved all the tennis talk. Let's not forget, however, the Bryan brothers, the best doubles team in the history of the sport. They both went to Stanford just like Johnny Mack and are active players, although planning to retire this year. Finally, tougher guy, Rocky or Rambo? Probably
Rambo. Yeah. Rocky got beat by Clubber Lang. Rambo would have eaten Clubber Lang.
Okay.
So it's got to be Rambo.
Jameis.
What was the first part?
Jameis, if he would have said, "Hey, I'm too hurt,"
no,
let me sit down.
Literally, I believe this. I believe it. I believe he's being truthful. The GM, I think it was the GM that said it. That if it was anybody but Tom Brady, that Jameis would have been there. I mean, It was Tom Brady. So I don't think it would have mattered that even if Jameis had thrown 14 picks, I still think because he only played nine or 10 games. I still think they make a run at Tom Brady.
No, because if he would have thrown 14 picks maintained everything else.
If he had shut it down. That first
okay.
That's what I meant. Not if he had thrown for 5,000 yards and 14 picks, he'd have been an all-pro. Yeah. No, I'm talking about if he had shut it down, like he said, like he was just got too hurt and couldn't do it. I still think there were going to be a lot of questions, way too many questions about Jameis, and they had a chance at Tom Brady. They never thought they would have a chance at Tom Brady. So it was just bad luck, bad timing for Jameis. And unfortunately for him, there really aren't a ton of viable options for a starting quarterback right now. Most teams have a guy. So he's going to have to go be a backup and then prove himself.
2019.
What he should have done, he got to 5,000 yards, which is cool. Like he literally threw for the 8th most yards in the history of the league. And he had a 30 season. He made history. But once his two receivers went down, he should have been like, yeah, I'm done. I think then they would have had a real decision to make. Because I think he threw 6 or 7 picks in the last 2 weeks. Or 8 in the last 3, whatever it was. But he was really playing well until Evans and Godwin got hurt.
2019 was like a pass-fail year for Jameis. Like there wasn't going to be any gray. There wasn't going to be a grading scale. It was like you're either going to pass or you're going to fail. And if he would have sat out part of it, he just would have failed by not participating.
Well, and it still would have been I think if Tom Brady had re-signed with the Patriots, that Jameis Winston would have gotten a 1-year huge deal with the Bucs. I think they were okay with bringing him back for another year. I don't think it was we got to get rid of this guy. He's terrible. I think they really wanted to bring him back, and they would have brought him back. But when you got Tom Brady dangling out there, it's hard to say no to that.
You know what's amazing is that in 84, like Dan Marino threw for 48 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards.
Yeah, 1984, right?
Amazing.
Nobody did that.
Amazing.
Like, I bet the next closest quarterback had 1,000 less yards.
I'm going to tell all my kids Dan Marino was the best quarterback ever.
All of them. When is that happening?
Nah, you ain't wrong. All right, we're done because I want to watch the semifinals and the finals of the horse competition on ESPN. So that'll be cool.
Hey, and also you should promote our
It's going to be over.
Our live stream of the Florida State Virginia Tech.
It's going to be over
the
by
national
time.
championship game.
By the time you all hear this, we'll have live streamed our thoughts on the replay of the '99 national title game on the ACC network.
But won't it be on YouTube?
Yeah, but who wants to watch us talk about a game from 20
Everybody
years ago?
Does. And all they have to do is they might have recorded it because they want it for posterity. They're going to want it in their vault. And one day they're going to say, you know what? I'm not doing anything. That's every day, right? I don't even know what today is. Is it Monday? They're going to say, you know what? I'm going to watch that game. I'm going to put it on the big screen and I'm going to listen to these guys talk and we're going to watch it together. So do it.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and also one more last promotion, Aslan. Can I do that?
Absolutely.
Gene and I did a, what are we calling those things?
War chat.
War chat. We did a war chat with Kirk Carruthers, former FSU great linebacker, about the 1989 Miami game. That will be it'll come out some point next week, but we recorded it on Thursday. It was awesome. Carruthers was great, and he had an unbelievable game. He had 16 tackles, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery. He was incredible, and that was the 1 year out of that 5-year stretch from like 87 to 92. So 6-year stretch, right? 87, 80, yeah,
Don't ask
whatever.
me to do math.
Yeah. It was the one game that Florida State won in that 6-year stretch, and Miami still won the national title. But it was still a great memory, great moment Florida State history with a lot of really good players. And it was a fun game, and he sat with us. He was really gracious, sat with us like Cannell did for probably 45 or 50 minutes. And it'll be a really fun watch. So go, even if you didn't live through it, go learn some Florida State history and watch that game. You're not doing anything else. Go learn some FSU history. And if you watched it live when it happened, go relive it. And then I think the next one we're going to do is one of the Jimbo Fisher era. I don't think we figured out quite which one yet, but we're going to fast forward to like one from maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Did you ask him if he legitimately made all those tackles or if it was like a pretty generous stat department?
Hey, don't start downplaying. Don't start poo-pooing
Question.
Kirk Carruthers. He was all over the field, Aslan.
All right. We're all over the place today. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. He's Corey Aslan. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's. It's indescribably good.
Some call them lunchtime lifesavers. Others call them the most perfect sandwiches to ever exist. At Zaxby's, we just call them our signature fan favorites. The Southern TLC filet sandwich has hand-breaded chicken with fresh tomato and crisp lettuce. The famous Kickin' Chicken sandwich features spicy tongue torch and Cool Ranch sauces. And for a limited time, fried pickles are back. 2 classic sandwiches and a legendary appetizer. 3 more reasons you're gonna get a kick out of Zaxby's.